welcome back. Thought I would do a different kind of update since last since you've seen me last. There's been 16 hours of recorded work, and I'm not trying to edit that with being this close to finishing. So, where we left off, we had splined everything. We'd still had this backdrop, still didn't have a bird, and still didn't have anything to hit. And where I probably could have made another video, but instead kept working. I added a sandbag, started adding a bird, added what I thought was some interesting screen shake. It's kind of like a Guilty Gear's camera rotating. I don't super love it. It's okay. I don't love it. And also both I maintain this idea of like this backdropped idea, and I realize I have not cited my inspiration for this yet. Which I feel if you've opened Pinterest in the last year, you've probably seen something that this person's made. And I really like this like anti-silhouette art style. However, I also took the time at this stage when I could have made a video to show y'all to take up a really cool artist on their Discord, where I got a good deal of feedback that I incorporated instead of making this video sooner. So with that feedback in mind, I actually got rid of this anti-silhouetting thing. I think it makes the animation read a little clearer, which fair enough. I still do like how the silhouette makes things look. I do agree, however, the sandbag didn't need it. Another big thing was the bird wasn't very readable on this second pass. They're named 5th, 6th, 7th. Those aren't the real numbers. I think I have 8 or 9 that are all named 5th. So ignore the names. But even though I can kind of see the bird, I can understand that someone who hasn't been staring at this for, again, probably around, that was at the 12-hour mark, at the point that this existed. The next almost 3 hours, we're just going in with grease pencil and redrawing this bird a little more clearly. And if that can be cited with inspiration, oh, I can't resize that. I tried to take kind of this idea of motion as it's coming up, and then that bird flap down and dissolve is what's going to be present. There still will be one more pass after this. This is, I think, just a decent show off what's happened up to now. So, yeah, at present, this is what we've got. I cleaned up. I'll give a tiny, just a little tour of where we are. I won't bother time lapsing again 16 hours, but we can just look through the animation in space. So a big addition, not quite improvement, I don't know. I kind of solidified these noisy shapes by adding a less noisy circle so that even with all the noise and fuzz, these are still very readable and legible as circles, which I think makes it look a lot better. There's also a very stark highlight that kind of operates with that light that I think hopefully isn't too subtle. I really appreciate it. And then again, where this one is supposed to be implied full body, this one is on the hand, so we're getting a bit more backlighting. And then again, added more circles to kind of feel it a little stronger. And then This is all in grease pencil. This is all by hand. If you've been following along, you know how much I like to use the computer instead of drawing. And that's just something I need to get over. And I wanted to make this kind of like delayed impact, which is why the trail is following the hand and it's no longer right on the hand. And I think this wave could probably be animated a little more fluidly. Like it's following a path. I don't hate it. I'm still learning. Anyway. Yeah, that little spiral, blossoms. I don't know if that might be a little fast. The two spots of negative space could maybe move a little slower. Just critiquing my own art now. And now, hopefully, this reads a little more as bird. I can also pull up. I also super increased the opacity and brightness of this yellow bird relative to the previous. The bird was a lot more opaque. Nope. It was a lot more transparent. Oh, did I lose all my dust clouds? There were dust clouds. That's something that needs to come back. This one has a lot of dust clouds. I don't know where they went. I will reintroduce them. We've got a lot of grease pencil notes. That and the cloud effect as he's getting punched could be improved. So yeah, we've got the bird kind of like coming out. So I was really focusing on keeping like a bird silhouette this time instead of just weird flexible shapes, which is fine. I do need to make another pass with masking to make things look good. And then I turn this off. I have it keyed for visibility, but not in the viewport. So once he actually launches, now it's visible. And I think I need to hold these longer or have more of them. This is this cloud effect, this free painterly cloud effect on Gumroad. Super cool artist also on Twitter, but I'm showing the Gumroad because this is what I'm using. Yeah. So very cool stuff. I will say, because my camera is orthographic, I did have to fix something in it. If you are using something that is projecting into camera space, I believe nope, not that. Might be. Anyway, I just had to disconnect this position node from the set position. It has this really cool effect if you're in a perspective camera where all the little cloud particles are actually like a little closer to the camera, and it has a good cool depth of field effect. But because I'm using an orthographic, I had to disconnect this. And if you are similarly using an orthographic, I hope this saves you hopefully no more than 10 minutes, but if it saves you more time than that, even better. But yeah, then the bird is flapping. And again, I'm hoping to kind of introduce that dissolve effect. So I'm going to introduce a bit more of that kind of dissolve during these frames that we're seeing. So right here, where it's kind of just shrinking, my next pass is going to be entirely just dissolves. But yeah, that's where we are. I think it's gotten a lot more readable. I also switched the background from a dark gray, which I think was contrasting really well with the... Oh, we're on a frame, it wouldn't be. With this background. But I switched it to a green that I think is just outside the color space of everything else. And while I'm sad that the backdrop didn't look super great on this particular animation, I think it's okay. Because that same information is how I ended up doing what I think looks a lot better, which are these other VFX that I also could have drawn. I'm less scared of grease pencil now. This has been a process of getting over some fears. But yeah, in a way, I think I could have drawn it better now. But in terms of just getting something present, I was excited. I'm also not in love with this screen shake, but I don't know that I ever would be in love with any screen shake. I was really trying to zoom in, emphasize the impact while still like keeping the burden frame. I think there's space for me to zoom in more. I think I could cut more of the wing and tail off. And also the last thing was I was considering adding an environment, but I don't think that'll add much. But I might add like a ground line. So stay tuned. Probably one more update, and then we can call this one good. Hope you've enjoyed the show so far. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the Twitch and Twitter. In the meantime, I post there a lot more frequently. This takes a little more effort on my part to stop and reflect, whereas the other two, I'm just either actively working while live on Twitch, or I post a lot of progress. Most of these GIFs have been posted days in advance of this video. So if you want to see stuff sooner, catch me on some other platforms. Otherwise, thanks for sticking around. Hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what you think. See you later.